What's up, geeks? So I'm here with another movie review, and I am reviewing Incredibles 2. Now, I'm going to try not spoil anything for this movie, so this is a no spoiler review. So let's get into this. So a quick summary of the plot is basically superheroes are still illegal, and we pick right up from the last movie, and pretty much they all get in trouble for doing something heroic. And then DevTech comes in and they want to make superheroes legal again. So they choose Elastigirl as like their spokesperson for this campaign. And this ends up making her leave Mr. Incredible to take care of the kids. And then eventually a villain does show up and then the plot continues. So what did I like about the movie first off? Well, I liked that the animation style was still the same, but it was new and crisp and fresh at the same time, because that animation style for The Incredibles is what was so iconic about it. And just even watching the trailers, like seeing how crisp it was but still the same at the same time was really, really nice and enjoyable. And so they pretty much brought the animation style back, just in new, fresh style. I don't know how to explain that. I like the animation, there we go. The art student in me is like, you have to explain and be big words, and I like the animation style, there we go. So I also really enjoyed the family dynamic this time, because what was also really cool about the first one is that it had a lot of family dynamics with it, and they really pushed it this time. Like, in the trailer, they had the math scene between Dash and Mr. Incredible, and he's like, Dad, that's not how you do it, you gotta do it this way. And in the movie theater, I just looked over to my dad and was like, that is you when I was younger. And he was laughing during that whole scene, and just the whole family aspect of it, like, Violet getting upset about something, a failed date that had happened to her, and she has adolescent problems. That was also shown in the trailer. And Jack getting older and everything like that, and Mr. Incredible trying to work out, how to take care of these kids like Elastigirl had, and he overcomes obstacles, but also he's struggling at the same time. So it was really, really cool to see such a family dynamic just progress even more. The villain was amazing. I was so for sure like, oh, this is the villain, or this is the villain. And whenever the twist happened, I was like, oh, that's good. Like, I was really shocked. And at the same time, I was like, oh, okay. They were a possible candidate, but like, good shock, okay? Some new heroes do get introduced, but it's not too much and it's not too little. We get their introduction, their names and their powers, where they come from, but that's about it. And we keep focus on the main characters of the story, which is the Incredibles and Frozone, and even a bit of the DevTech owners, the company owners. And I was really like, I didn't know if I wanted new superheroes in this, because I had shown a couple in the trailer. I believe her name is Void. She's got blue hair. They showed her a lot in like further like end trailers pretty much. And I was like, oh, why are we bringing new superheroes into this? They're going to be focusing on them heavily, and that wasn't the case for this movie. They gave them a quick introduction. They did their part in the movie, and that was that. We really focused on the main characters in this movie, and they were just side characters, as they should be, and we didn't need any more of like who they were or their story in order for them to be good characters, per se. The only one who really had a lot of more interaction and stuff with that was Void, and she interacted with Elastigirl quite a bit, but again, it wasn't too much. So I was really happy that they had gotten the right amount of time, and it wasn't too much or too little where we were tired and sick of these characters, and it wasn't too little where we knew nothing about them. They were just there. So I think that they had done that very, very well. And the best part of all is we got more Frozone. He had such a big part in this movie, and I was so happy because who doesn't love Frozone? Everybody loved him in the first movie. Like, where's my super suit? Like, there have been people who are dressing up as Frozone and going to the premiere, or went to the premiere of Incredibles 2, dressed as Frozone, walking in, saying that line, and bless those people. But we got more Frozone, and his character was just developed more, and it was so good to see more of him on the big screen, and I really, really, really enjoyed that, and I think you guys are too. So some of the cons, Jack, there was a point where it was just too much for him. So in the movie, it's heavily stressed that Jack has multiple powers. And it's just shown throughout the whole movie that he has so many different powers. And I'm just like, when does this guy have a limit? Because I'm really getting sick and tired. Like, we see several powers that, like, resurface throughout the movie, and I'm just like, okay, like, those are his powers. And then towards the end of the movie, more powers pop up, and I'm like, this is really getting pretty old and annoying, because he's pretty much becoming like an invincible baby at this point. And like, where do we stop with the superpowers? They just kept stressing it through the whole entire movie, and I was like, really? Like, we have to keep adding more powers to him? So to me, it was unnecessary. Just stick with like a good couple of powers and be like, yes, he has multiple powers. And they were like, no, we're gonna shove more powers at you. And it was like, oh, okay. And last but not least, seizure warning. There are a lot of bright flashing lights in this movie. It has to deal with the villain, the screensaver. So if you are prone to seizures, warning when seeing this movie, just take caution, okay? Oh, and a little geeky thing. The end credits were a nice little homage to the first movie. They're in that same blocky geometric style as the first movie's end credits were, and I just really liked it a lot. It was a little, little Easter egg homage to the first movie. And if you're seeing this movie in 3D, the end credits are actually really cool. I've never seen end credits done like that. So, little bonus if you're seeing it in 3D. And if you're wondering, is it better to see it in 3D than standards? I honestly probably wouldn't see a difference. The only difference I probably would see is the end credits. Actually, they really do pop off the screen. So, if you want to see the end credits and look really cool, then I guess see it in 3D, but I don't see any difference between standard and 3D if you go and see this movie. So in conclusion, is this movie good, bad, or must see? It is definitely a good movie to see. Now, I grew up watching the first Incredibles, and it wasn't like outstanding or mind-blowing to me. It was just a good movie, and that's how I feel about this sequel, Incredibles 2. It was nice to sit down and watch. It got a couple of laughs out of me, but in the end it didn't blow my mind. It was just good. So if you like this video, click the thumbs up button, and if you want to see more geeky videos whenever I put them out, hit the subscribe button. But as always, stay geeky, my friends.